to make you wealthy, for the grace to make you sufficient, it must be coupled with labor. Come on, somebody shout labor. So, which means that if we are going to rise up as the body of Christ and rise up as the arm of Christ, we must couple the grace that God has given unto us with high working ethic. Working ethic, it must be part and parcel of the grace that God gives unto you. If you study history, Christian history, if you study religious history from Islam, Christianity, and all the religions that we talk about, 70 years ago, if you check the hierarchy of the richest people in the world, the richest people in the world were Christians and believers. But over time, those Christian believers that were so prosperous and wealthy were blessed by a generation, that is our generation, which is a generation that regards grace, but with the law, working ethic. They regard grace, but they don't labor for the grace so that it may become effectual. So, if you check the hierarchy of the people that are wealthy, people that are living life of abundance and sufficiency on top and the apex and the echelon of the hierarchy, you meet atheists, polytheists, you meet non-believers. You can only find a believer on the periphery of the hierarchy of the people that are prosperous. The reason being that it's not because it's a demonic attack. It is an ignorance attack. The devil is attacked the body of Christ with ignorance. We are so sincere in the issues of grace. We are so sincere in the spiritual matters. We are so sincere in the things that has to do with the spirituality. We are sincere in our praying. We are sincere in our fasting. We are so sincere in our reading of the word. We are so sincere in singing, but with ignorance. So the devil has taken that door of ignorance to attack us. That's why we suffer. Apostle Paul, at one particular time, the Bible speaks of Philemon, that Philemon stole church money, and the elders, they sat down, and the apostles, and they said, we have to discard them from the congregation of the Christians. Then Apostle Paul was called when he was away in Philippi. If you read the Bible, you will hear that Apostle Paul said, whatever Philemon did to the church, the money that he took, I'm going to put it back from my own pocket. Then this is a same Apostle Paul who said that when I come to you asking for gifts, seeds, I'm not doing it for my personal gain. I'm doing it so that your heavenly accounts may be credited, because God has made me sufficient. I have got enough to give and to share. Apostle Paul, after planting a church, after ministering powerfully, he could go back to his nature of work. He was a tent maker, not spiritually, but physically. He could roll up his sleeves, then make tents. So you find out that many of the churches that Apostle Paul established and opened, they were funded and donated by Apostle Paul because he had sufficiency. Read Acts from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, going forward. You understand that whenever the apostles could gather, they would gather, look around for the people who need business, people with no food, people with no clothes, people with nothing to touch. Then they could sell their land. So the apostles